This stage-managed confusion that we are seeing around the fake fertilizer is actually legendary. And maybe let us try to understand this. How is it that on one hand, government is saying, or rather Kenya Kwanza is saying, that there is nothing like fake fertilizer. The fake fertilizer narrative is a making of enemies of the program. They are denying the stories of fake fertilizer. But on the other end, they are saying they are working to fish out cartels in the fertilizer distribution supply chain. And even this evening, if you look at this memo, they have stopped distribution of one brand of fertilizer known as NPK. So there have been high-profile denial that there is nothing like fake fertilizer that farmers are getting. Remember, this story of farmers saying fertilizer is mixed with some impurities, and these impurities include some animal, some cow dung, soil, and some, some shit from I think I saw someone saying donkey and goat and all that. So it is a story coming from the farmers, but government is having a highline defense denial on this. And this is what I'm saying. In this video, I want you to listen to Farouk Kibet speaking in Kisii. He was admitting of some fraudulent characters that are defrauding farmers.
Ikija maneno ya fertilizer, serikali imepeana fertilizer kwa gharama ya chini. Kuna wakora wengine tumeambiwa, na hii inaenda kwa ichungwa, kwamba kuna watu ambao wanashikana na wakora kuuzia wananchi fertilizer ambaye ni mchanga. Tunauliza, badala ya polisi kukuja kwa mkutano ya amani kama hii, tunataka polisi waende washike hii watu wanauza mbolea kwa njia ya sio halali. Hiyo ndio maneno sisi tunauliza kama viongozi. Jambo la mwisho.
This was in Kisii over the weekend. Now the same weekend, the agriculture CS Mithika Linturi is reading a different script and is saying that there is nothing like fake fertilizer, and all the fertilizers that are coming from the depot are actually approved and okayed by KEBS.
Serikali ya rais wetu is a responsible government. Na sisi ndio tunaelewa uchungu wa ukosefu wa chakula kama viongozi wale mmepatia nafasi ya kuongoza. Na tusipopata chakula, it means raia na wananchi tutakuwa na shinda, tutategemea misaada na mikopo. Kwa hivyo sisi kwa sababu ya kutumia sayansi, kwa kutumia teknolojia, tumeangalia fertilizer ile njema inaweza kwanza kuhakikisha inaponesha mchanga wetu, sababu DAP ilikuwa inaharibu mchanga, hasindi inazidi katika mchanga yetu. Nilikwambia tumefanya organic fertilizers, 50% chemical, 50% organic na crop specific fertilizers. We pushed wale wengine, mulitusikiza na tunawashukuru, ndio mazao yameweza kuongezeka. Kile na waomba, sababu our government is responsible. Ile mwito tunaomba, wachaneni na ile story watu wengi wanasema ya kwamba kuna fertilizer sijui iko mbaya, iko nini. Ile fertilizer serikali sisi inapeana, na ile tuko naye ni fertilizer imeangaliwa, imekaguliwa, na tukoona ni fertilizer sawa sawa.
This is Mithika Linturi speaking. And so, who is lying and who is saying the truth? Remember, the challenge on fertilizer has been twofold. Number one has been on availability. And I think I analyzed here that there were farmers that went to the streets, that farmers that got messages to go report to the national cereals or stores to pick their fertilizers, only for them to reach there after trekking long distances to be told that that fertilizer is no longer there. That was the first. The first was availability. Then the second fold was on fertilizer mixed with impurities. Now, if you want to know, this is something that the Kenya Kwanza has actually dispatched a defense team on this issue of fertilizer. Don't go far. I want you to look at the drama at Rita Tinina's, late Rita Tinina's burial. The journalist, Rita Tinina, who was buried in Narok today, and may her soul rest in peace to the family. Yeah, I saw when the daughter realized finally that she was off, she was away, she was going. I think it was quite amazing. I was in Standard in 2017. Yes, by that time she was actually working in KTN News. So yeah, our paths crossed a bit in that industry, and may God really comfort them. I really see the fraternity had lost, the media fraternity had really lost a trailblazer. Now, something happened there. I want to listen to speeches. Babu, Owino, Wambua. So the person was given the microphone, and I think even the organizers, they strategically didn't want to mix with the politics. So what the journalists did, what they did with the program, they gave the microphone to the senator, who is Ledama Olekina, so that Ledama Olekina will run the program for the politicians, bit of it. And so he was the one to invite, he was the senator, Narok senator, he was the one to invite the MPs and other representatives. So there were two people that were dispatched from State House. This is Dennis Itumbi and Emmanuel Talam. Emmanuel Talam is also a former journalist. And of course, because he's head of presidential press team, presidential press, and Dennis, they know, my friend Dennis is this and that, going there, coming here, this and that. And Nani spoke about it. Wambua spoke about that fertilizer. And they might have realized that the issue of, and there was even an MCA who spoke about, there was an MCA that had spoken earlier about it, then Wambua commented about the fertilizer. So I wanted to look at how Dennis Itumbi came out with a very defensive line, and there was one asking some MCA there, that those who are saying that when part of fake fertilizer, atoe jina yao so that they should be compensated. Listen to that.
Sio mheshimiwa amesema maneno ya fertilizer. Those of you who followed proceedings in the Senate yesterday, I think we pronounced ourselves very, very clearly on this matter. That we want a government that is responsive, a government that is responsible, a government that treats its farmers and the political masses fairly. The truth of the matter is that the fertilizer that is being said to be fake, and I said yesterday, I will repeat it now, that fertilizer is not fake. It is not fertilizer in the first place. Ni mawe na mafia punda. That's what it is. That's what it is. And somebody must take responsibility for this. Responsible governments compensate,
which have been said very well by other people. One, that we wish to remember Rita as the queen and master of storytelling and stories of truth. Some of the stories I've heard here before I spoke are not necessarily stories of truth. Last year, because of good fertilizer, we improved the bags that have been harvested in this country from 60 million to 80 million bags. Because of good fertilizer, the demand for fertilizer has gone up by 200,000 acres. If it was bad fertilizer, demand would not have gone up. And finally, my friend Senator from Kitui said, "Iyo ni mawe na mavi ya punda." I'm lucky to have grown up in Mwea, where we bring up donkeys. Na hata mavi ya punda tulitumia kama fertilizer. But that said, let me finish by saying to the MCA, because you are the only one who basically comes from the ground here, na umesema fertilizer ni mbaya. Before I leave, please give me receipts ya wale ambao wamepata fertilizer mbaya, and I will ensure the compensation is done before I leave here. Ndio tuache uongo na tukue na stories za ukweli. God bless you and keep you.
Mimi sitaongea mambo ya mbolea, because I have lost a father myself. Probably all of us here tumepoteza mzazi, rafiki, ndugu ama rafiki. Let me tell you, good people, from my own experience, at a moment like this, nothing else is important. I'm not saying that to cover for the government or to cover for the president, but I'm talking out of experience. Tukue na heshima kidogo. Huyu malkia hajui mbolea, hajui punda, hajui Ruto, hajui Wambua, na hajui Olekina. She wants to be comforted. Mimi naitwa Emmanuel Talam. I am the press secretary in State House. Na mimi ni rafiki wa huyu mrembo dada Rita Tinina.
Hii mambo ya fertilizer, there is no way the government can allow such a thing to happen if they are not directly involved. And that is why tuliambiwa hapa rais hawezi ongelea mambo ya mbolea kwa sababu anajua ni nini imetendeka. We want this government to take responsibility and the cabinet secretaries to resign for that matter. Hawezi wekea watu mawe na ile mavia punda ati ni fertilizer. Mungu awabariki, asanteni.
Kwa sababu bila ya hawa, mimi nataka niwaambie leo, bila ya hawa hata labda Sifuna angekuwa anazungumza hapa. Kama si hawa watu walikuwa wanakuja maandamano na kamera, tungeuawa. These people were protecting us during maandamano kwa sababu walikuwa wanatupangia maovu. Hii watu kinatalama hao wanaongea hapa sasa. Na mimi nataka niseme kwa sababu tuko kwa mazishi ya mwandishi wa habari, mtu mwenye kumulika mambo. Tusifiche mambo hapa. Huwezi kutuambia tusizungumzie vitu ambavyo zinahusu wananchi wetu. Kama kuna kitu ndani ya hii serikali, mwenye kuulizwa swali ni nani? Mwenye serikali. Wewe huwezi kutuuzia fertilizer ovyo alafu kuje kutuambia tusiulize kwa niaba ya wananchi. Na ukiangalia vizuri, ukichunguza, kama Rita angekuwa hapa afanye expose, ungekuta hii fertilizer iliingizwa na Talamu. Anatuambia hapa ati tusiulize hii maswali. Mimi nataka kumwambia Rais Ruto, wewe kila kitu kinafanyika ndani ya serikali yako ni wewe tutauliza. Hakuna mtu mwingine wa kuuliza. Kila mtu anajua ya kwamba kuna ukora katika uchaguzi. Nani ajui kwamba mwaka wa 2007 uchaguzi uliibiwa? Alafu unakuja kusema according to ODM. There is something called an objective truth. The sun rises from the east for everyone and sets on the west. Si ni kweli? And as journalists we must defend the truth every single time. Kwa hivyo kwa hayo mengi nataka niseme asante sana na niseme Mungu aiweke roho ya Rita mahali pema peponi. Mungu awabariki.
And you can see how that drama outplayed. So they knew very well, and I think Ruto team knew very well that wale watu wa Azimio, the opposition politicians, they are going to get airtime. They knew very well that opposition politicians were going to get airtime there, and they really hit government using that fake, they really hit government on that fake fertilizer story. So they don't come out and say, eti ako willing kulipa. And you see the way, and I think Talamu was saying he doesn't want to comment about it. But, you know, you cannot pay sanity. You cannot, Kenya Kwanza the least to pay sanity because they've been playing politics all over during the burial ceremonies they attend. It's now a culture that politicians have adopted. So, and Rita Tinina was a political reporter, so politics could not get away from there. Now, I'm just asking, they know. So, Dennis Itumbi is saying, you know what, I want to pay. There have been videos, we've seen videos of women from Trans Nzoia, from Kakamega, from Murang'a, from, from Nakuru, all over saying the way, and I think the recent one was Kilgoris, even there in Narok. At Siata kuhusu hiyo burial, a previous day, there was a story that was done by Standard. Mama mwingine hapo Kilgoris too was crying that hiyo fertilizer si yenye amezoea. And you see, you cannot just say, you know, you cannot deny something that is there. While the other day, kama mna believe kwamba hii fake fertilizer ni kitu inatengenezwa, it's just a fake story. I've seen Deno running a couple of tweets. Let me just check what is in the Twitter. He's been running some story. I spoke in Narok and challenged an MCA who had claimed she has evidence of fake fertilizer being distributed to share the receipts of purchase, and they will take up the cases and even compensate. I later approached her and she said, usijali, do not take it personal, ni siasa tu. Fake news siyo siasa, mheshimiwa. He's been, and someone told him, just show us a video of you talking to that, nani then tutakubaliana na wewe what you're saying. He's been running a couple of tweets. Let me just sample some few. Yes, he's saying this. GOK understands fake news manufacturers. Their poorly written script alleges that the source of fake fertilizer is NCPB. To destroy the outright rumors, suspend the distribution, deny the rumor mongers an anchor, and at the same time track their operational base. And someone is asking, and I think even in the same tweet, someone is asking, if it is fake news, then why has the government suspended the distribution of NCPB? It can't be fake, but at the same time suspending the distribution. If you are saying it is not fake, then why are you suspending the distribution? In fact, the farmers have bought that fertilizer from, they've picked that fertilizer, bought that fertilizer from NCPB. Now, there is an investigation going on. On the other end, you believe there is nothing like fake fertilizer. So, and he's been running a couple of that. For the record, the fertilizer story is fake news on broken high heels. The government has suspended distribution of NCPB to allow investigations. With that move alone, the fake news manufacturing. There is only one story here called fake news, fake news. So what is fake? Is it that fertilizer mixed with impurities is in, farmers are having fertilizer mixed with impurities, or what is fake? And I want to deconstruct this narrative that there are forces who saw the success of subsidized fertilizer, and now they're running fake stories, running fake stories to soil the reputation of that program. Let's say for the truth, the areas where, I want to say why this narrative is, that position is actually half-baked. The areas where fake fertilizer story has emerged is Rift Valley and Mount Kenya. So, do you want to tell me, at a company that external force, if it is that opposition force, do you want to tell me they have been penetrated even Kalenjin land and ran those folk stories? The women that have been conducting interviews, that have been interviewed, do you want to tell me that those women in the villages were coached by some politicians to lie about this? NCPB stores are full of control of KK, you know, of Kenya Kwanza. You know, there is something that I want us to look at here. And let's not hide our head, let's just hide our faces in the sand. The truth of the matter here is, farmers have fake fertilizers. And the farmers themselves have said, we bought those fertilizers from the NCPB. So this new baptism, the politician is doing the story by telling us that those fertilizers are not from NCPB, they bought them from somewhere. You know, it is farmers that have said. It is not the journalists. It is not us who are saying this story. This story has been narrated by the farmers themselves. They're the ones that saying, niliendea fertilizer, nimepata imekuwa mixed na shit ya ng'ombe. And this is it. Instead of this high defense line, you just rather own up and investigate. There are three probabilities over this fake fertilizer thing. Number one, Ruto at one time admitted that there was a problem with import of fertilizer due to some external war, I think Russia and around the Red Sea. He admitted that. So government at some instant had even admitted that there was a problem of importing that fertilizer. So this is it. They've said they have doubled the subsidized fertilizer. Last time they gave 500 million bags. I think this time that they're giving more than 500. 100,000. They're giving more than that. So instead of, what could be happening here is we did get enough fertilizer, but the demand was high, because the truth of the matter here is ile fertilizer subsidy yenye ilipeana last time, it worked. That's one thing we need to give them. We need to give them that. The subsidized fertilizer, even though it was not subsidized, they were given for free. But farmers took it and walitumia, and there was good produce. That for sure we have to admit. But then it created a very unexpected demand for that fertilizer. So what happened here is unscrupulous people then took advantage to create anything that could be called fertilizer. And whatever that was created and deposited in NCPB so that it can be sold to the farmers. That's number one. Number two, there could be a possibility, because I have done this story, I'm doing this story for the second time. The other time I did this story, it's in this channel. Some woman was even saying that yeye anaona wamesimama hapo, and that was in Nakuru. There is a lorry that comes and picks fertilizer, but wao wenye wamechukua the small scale are not getting. So there is a big possibility that there are some large scale privileged farmers that went and bought all the good fertilizers, and then there was some fake, because the demand was high. Someone tried to manipulate the fertilizer so that it can accommodate others. And if not that, then the impurities, and this is my punchline, the impurities were intentionally put in those bags as part of a pilot program. Someone may be planning to manufacture fertilizer using the organic material, and so this could be part of the experiment. Let's take some to Kakamega, let's see, so that if it work, then we just try to make fertilizer locally here using the organic, which there is nothing wrong with it. And I'm taking this point from what Dennis Itumbi said, that uko Mwea wanatumia shit ya donkey, and so there is no problem. And of course there is no problem with organic fertilizer is the best. But this is it. Someone could have done this intentionally and was making some research. They will want to see ikiwank, oh, then we will create some plan for this. If that will be the good idea, then it just need to be packaged to farmers so that people understand. Thank you.